Well, turning now to our national lead, a rare appearance by First Lady Melania Trump on Capitol Hill today, joining lawmakers to advocate for a bill to expand resources for children in the foster care system.
Foster youth face a special set of challenges. With the new legislation, we can ensure that the opportunity is more than helpful for individuals in the foster care community. It can be their birthright.
The foster care system has been a central focus of the First Lady's during her husband's second term, but the Trump administration's immigration crackdown may actually be contributing to the problem. According to a ProPublica investigation between January and August of last year, the parents of more than 11,000 U.S. citizen children were arrested or detained under Trump's immigration crackdown. Joining me to discuss is the Executive Director of Children's Rights, Sandy Santana. Sandy, I really appreciate your time. So the federal government doesn't track how many children enter foster care because a parent is detained for immigration reasons. Based on your experience, do you have a rough estimate or any type of numbers about how often this happens, how many children may be displaced in foster care as a result?
Phil, the answer is nobody really knows. We know that the federal government is not tracking the number of children in foster care that are there because of immigration enforcement action. States have a hodgepodge of rules around this. Some states have reported numbers, other states have not. Some states have cited privacy concerns because they fear that maybe that leads to families being investigated as well. So we don't know the true numbers. A publication did a study, wrote to states and asked for self-reported numbers. They found that 32 children were in foster care because of immigration enforcement over 7 states. We think those numbers are very, very low. As you pointed out, in just the first 7 months of the Trump administration, 11,000 parents of U.S. citizen children were detained. There were, in February, 70,000 or so people in immigration detention facility. So we think those numbers are much higher than those that have been reported by states. And there's also no coordination between the federal government and child welfare systems on this issue. So there's no way to really know. In addition, there's a lack of training for social workers to identify kids who have been removed from their parents because of enforcement issues, immigration enforcement issues. And so we have no clue, but we know based on those numbers and based on anecdotal evidence and everything we're seeing that those numbers have to be much higher.
Can you just walk people through what happens to a child if ICE detains their parent? Where are they taking? What are the conditions like? Can they communicate with their parent?
Yeah, so parents are detained. There are procedures for communicating with the child. There's an ICE directive that actually says that ICE is supposed to make or have processes to connect the child to parents or kin, family members that are around the family, in some cases connect through the child welfare system. We don't know how closely ICE is following that directive, so we don't know how they're adhering to that.
To that point, is there no reporting on compliance? It seems strange to me that we wouldn't have any insight into that.
There's no reporting on whether ICE is complying with that at all. We don't know. The other thing we do know is in certain cases we have mothers detained at the Dilley facility in South Texas with their children. And we are one of the few organizations who can visit those children, speak to them, and we know that right now they're experiencing stress, anxiety, fear. There have been instances of water that's not drinkable, worms in food, lights on all night so that kids are not able to sleep, no access to educational services in certain cases, and no access to mental and physical health services as well.
Sandy Santana, I really appreciate your time sharing your perspective. Thanks so much.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Well, repeatedly today.